Hello, people. Today, I just wanted to, take a look through my pen bag, share with you guys some of the more notable pens that I have in my collection. Some of my preferred pens, some that I had high hopes for, but don't quite live up to expectations. And on that note, got my scrap paper here. What's a good first start? You know what? Since this guy made a cameo in my Inkjoy slash Bit Crystal video, let's start with another Inkjoy, the Inkjoy Gel in this 0.7. I have this black one here. I know they come in all kinds of fun colors, but the black is the only one I have. And just for comparison to some of the other models we're gonna be showcasing here, let's go with, I almost wrote Pentel. I mean, it's your standard kind of gel, like very dark, very smooth. 0.7, so it's kind of that middle of the road size. I consider it middle of the road. I think once we get to like 0.5 and below, I'd call those like fine. At least in gel. Well, I guess especially in gel because, and once we get to like 1.0 and above, I would typically consider that a broad and gel. Maybe not so much on a ballpoint because those tend to write more finely. But this is one of my go-to gel pens. Not necessarily because the refill is anything special. I mean, it's fine. It's suitable. I put it on par with like the Pilot G2s of the world. But it's more so the body. This guy, I really like this kind of rubberized grip. The like one see-through window, but just like this sort of rubberized over molding over a good majority of the pen. I think it's of it's like it's on the thicker side, but I tend to enjoy that in my pens, as you might come to see over the course of this video. But the refill, it's nothing amazing, but it's very serviceable. Very serviceable for a gel pen. I'll set that off to the side for now. Yeah. Here we have the Pentel Energel. I believe it's the alloy, the one in this nice gold color here. I think it came with maybe a 0.5 or a 0.7 millimeter refill. But something about this, like this big metal gold pen, it felt right to put in a larger 1.0 millimeter blue refill. Oh, we have a little skip there. Haven't used this in a while. I mean, depending on how like nerdy you get about pens, like you know about the Energel. Most people know about the Energel. it is one of the more exceptionally smooth writing gel pens that I have, at least. I think that probably is available. I especially like it in like the kind of heft of this. It's almost flamboyant, really. This larger gold executive style pen. It comes in at a very reasonable price too. I think I might have got this at a Walmart for less than $7. I want to say 6 and change. Don't quote me on that. It's not the refill that came with the pen, but I think that the blue on these Energels is very, very bright, very vibrant. It's one of my preferred blue inks if I'm writing in blue ink. I'm typically writing in black, but when I have to use blue ink, or when I never have to use blue ink. When I want to use blue ink, Energel is one that I tend to reach for. Keeping on theme with the kind of classier metal pens, oh, this one was much more expensive. I have the Rotring 600, you know, a classic, a staple in the pen community. Rotring, a German brand. I believe they were recently acquired by, who was it? I believe they were recently acquired by Mitsubishi Pencil or Uni. Depending on how you know them. Let me just make sure I have the standard. Yeah, I do have the standard Rotring ballpoint in here. And while I do enjoy the feel of it, I think this is I think the color is called Pearl White. It's very solidly constructed. What is this? I think it's 0.7 millimeters. That would sound right. It's 1.0. Interesting. I mean, it's a ballpoint pen. It's not my favorite refill. It might be that I don't like ballpoints very much. I know this accepts your standard Parker style refills. I haven't found one that I love yet. I may look into getting one of those newer Jetstream refills. I think it's like maybe the SXR 6000. Don't quote me on that, but they now make a Jetstream refill that fits in Parker style pens. I mean, it is a very nice looking pen. It feels very nice in the hand. I could use some more aggressive knurling towards the front end here, but it's very classy. It's very nice, especially in this pearl white color. But the refill kind of kills it for me. Now, oh jeez. Now this is a pen I really enjoy carrying. It's the Uniball 1, the Uni 1P, I believe, is the 1P. And the shorter variety. It's very similar to, let's see, do I have one handy? Yeah, I say very similar, they're part of the same line, but I believe this is the 1P, which is the shorter, kind of stubby variant. I have it in this nice orange color. And this is just the Uni 1. I should check. I think I keep the standard ink in here. Okay, so this is the one. I think this came with a 0.7 millimeter refill. I have the 0.38 in here. I actually think the 0.38 came from this shorter one. And I keep it in here, and I keep the 0.5 millimeter in here just because it's my preferred, and I like using this pen more than I do. It's, you know, it's larger counterpart here. It's just more comfortable in my hand. Again, that kind of that thicker diameter grip here. And yeah, I guess I will. This one is scratchier, obviously in the 0.38. One thing I will say that I prefer to this model is, and I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but from here to here, there's a kind of rubberized section that helps you grip the pen. That this does not have. I wish I could get it on the shorter model, but to my knowledge, they don't make one. I really like the wire clips on these guys. It's certainly nicer than anything I've had on camera so far. Clip-wise. The claim to fame on the ones, and I don't know how well this is showing up on camera, but the ink is supposed to be exceptionally dark. And it may not come across well on camera, especially when I'm comparing it to like these broader refills. But it is a exceptionally dark ink. It's darker than any other pen I have. I would say with one exception being, I think this is the Bic Ecolutions Gel. Or Gelosity, Bic Ecolutions Gelosity or Ecolutions Gel. It is one of the two. You can find them at a Target or a Walmart. Kind of a lesser known model. I do like this kind of blue recycled plastic aesthetic that we have here. The refill, it's your kind of Pilot G2 Energel sized refill. I believe this one is in, looks like 0.7 millimeter. I like the side knock release. You know, it's not something you see super often, especially on some of these cheaper pens. It's typically your standard click. We have the kind of a lanyard loop here, I guess. I'm unimpressed by this pocket clip. It feels incredibly flimsy. I'm sure it'll break before I'm finished using the pen if I ever try to utilize this pocket clip. There's a good fidget factor here with this side knock. But the reason I bring it out now is the line is pretty bold for 0.7 millimeter. I don't know how well this comes across on camera, but it is the only pen I have that gives the Uni 1 a kind of a run for its money in terms of how dark and pigmented that ink is. It's like, I might even give the slight edge to the Bic. It's the Bic, the Uni 1. I imagine the Zento is in contention with it too. I have not had a chance to try the Zento yet. But those two are kind of the only game in town when it comes to fighting for that darkest, most pigmented ink title. What do we do next? Okay. This is my Pilot Dr. Grip gel. I believe it comes with just a standard kind of, let's see. I believe they come with like this, a kind of standard Pilot G2 style gel refill. I guess I'll throw this down just for comparison's sake. I mean, everybody has used one of these. This is in the 1.0 millimeter. I tend to prefer a bolder pen for most use cases, but I mean, I feel like this is most people's experience with a kind of higher quality pen, something that's that's a step up from like your Bic, like kind of Click Stick or your Bic Crystal. Not to knock those, you know, but these are certainly supposed to be at least a step up, and I think they are, especially into the gel category. So while the Dr. Grip, I think typically comes standard, the regular Dr. Grip doesn't, but the Dr. Grip gel, the Dr. Grip gel model comes with their standard G2 refill, I believe. However, if you're noticing, some of our more eagle-eyed observers will see that the Dr. Grip seems to be writing in much thicker lines than our G2, even though our G2 is a 1.0 millimeter, which I do believe is the broadest point they make in that gel refill Pilot. But I do not have the stock refill in here. That's my little secret. And this is a pen I probably reach for more than any other. But what we have here is the refill from a Pilot V10 RT. And you know, that's kind of a lesser known model among the Precise series. They have these, the more common way you'd see them is in these capped variants. In Europe, I think they're called like the V-Point or V-Tech series, but the Precise series, they come in these capped V5 and V7, and I think in other markets they do a capped V10 as well, but I have not seen one in any of the stores I frequent. So this might be what you're used to, but they also have a retractable version of the Precise series. that I won't be able to find an example right now. I think I pillaged all my RTs to feed this thing, which is, I don't know, which is well loved, well used, as you can tell. But they make a retractable version of the V10, which is the 1.0, and V5 0.5 millimeter, V7 0.7 millimeter, V10 1.0 millimeter. And this it's like a, not gel, it's actually a roller ball kind of refill, in the same way that like the V5 is a roller ball pen, but you can just see the size difference on the tips there. This just lays down ink like nothing else, honestly. Especially if, and this is an effect I've had a hard time duplicating with other pens, but if you slowly, maybe I'm at too steep of an angle here. You slowly bring the pen around. When you speed it up, you can watch the line get more fine, and that's an effect I don't really see in other pens. This is a very comfortable kind of grip for me. It's as smooth as anything I've ever written with, frankly. Up here is a little bit of scrap. A combination of like the roller ball and that broad tip. It's a needle point, which I enjoy. It's pretty hard to find needle points in like such broad sizes. The other example I have on hand here is, you may recognize this from my last video, but the Papermate Inkjoy, and that's a 1.0 as well, in that kind of needle tip. But while they look similar, just by virtue of that being a ballpoint versus a roller ball, you see how different those lines turn out. So like, while they're both 1.0 millimeter, I would say this is like an exceptionally broad pen, and this is a pretty standard. I guess that's why they would label it a medium. But this Dr. Grip is like a pen I reach for more than almost anything else, really. Just when I need to like scribble down some notes or something. But as broad as it is not the broadest pen in my collection. That honor goes to, let's see, the Fude Ball 1.5 from Oto. Many people are familiar with Oto for their GS01 and GS02 pens, as well as their CR01 and CR02. I have not tried a handful of those, but I hope to at some point. And I mean, just look at that. That's insane. I'm writing in all caps just because it feels right with this pen. 1.5 millimeter. It's like writing with a marker. It's frankly ridiculous. I guess for comparison, I mean, it does not look 50% larger than the V10, but holy hell, That is a broad pen. I mean, it's neat, kind of as a. It's really a novelty. I feel the 1.5, which is funny because I reach for the 1.0 constantly, just because I like how smooth it is. I would say it's not as smooth as the V10 refill, but it's definitely broader. I mean, geez, I don't have anything that even comes close to that in terms of how broad it gets. And you know, this may be an unpopular opinion amongst pen nerds, but my one other Oto pen, I have the GSO1, which aesthetically I very much enjoy. I think it's a very nice pen aesthetically, especially these. It's kind of hexagonal top that tapers down into this cylindrical end here. And it feels well made. Well, kind of. One thing I don't like is that it there's like a real rattle. I don't know, maybe let me see if you can hear this. Yeah, maybe not. There's a real rattle when the pen is deployed, I suppose. And the thing that may get unpopular about this is that inside of my my Oto, it accepts Parker style refill. So I have my Parker Quink Flow ballpoint in 0.8. Looks very similar to the Rotring refill. I'm now noticing both in France I saw. And this may just be a case of me, again, not loving ballpoints, but yeah, maybe you'll hear that rattling. 0.8. And it's just, it drags in a way that I don't particularly enjoy. I mean, it's legible, but I feel like I'm getting spots where we're not laying down ink as well as we'd like to. That combined with the rattle kind of kills this pen for me. I suppose I stuck this refill in here. I don't know what I did with the Oto refill, because I did like the stock refill quite a bit, but I suppose I probably put this Parker, this beloved Parker refill, Quink Flow, in this pen because I don't particularly like the pen very much, nor do I like the refill, so kind of both out of sight, out of mind. A couple of newer editions that I'm less familiar with, but you know, maybe you guys will enjoy. Our Sakura ball sign ID in 0.4. And I know this is a finer pen, and with that, it's going to come a certain level of scratchiness. This feels scratchier than some other 0.4 millimeter pens that I've tried. I guess the highlight here is probably this clip. I think this is a very neat design, as well as kind of having this like built-in lanyard loop. I think it's very aesthetically neat. And that's kind of the big takeaway for me on this one. And you know what? We have more, but no need to get into everything today. So we're going to end the video with a classic Pilot G-Tech C4, which I have not used a ton. I'm honestly kind of scared to because I hear that these things are very fragile. But and even now, I just feel like I might just bend this tip and ruin this thing, but it is exceptionally smooth for such a fine pen, for such like a fine needle tip pen. I find this thing to be exceptionally smooth. It feels good in the hand. Kind of has that like bit crystal style clear plastic construction feel in the hand with some let's see. I don't know if you can hear that, but we have a sort of texture, some ridges, some lines here, so you can kind of choke up, get a good grip. I should honestly look in to seeing if this refill is compatible with anything else. You know what, let's try that right now. Because if this is compatible with like G2 refills and aerogel refills and things of that nature, we're going to test with our Dr. Grip. Whoops. And that's already not promising that we only get that much extension. But let's just see. Yeah. Nothing. Okay. Well, worth a shot. Well, anyway, I think that's going to conclude the brief overview of some of my preferred pens from my collection. What you can probably tell is I have a tendency, a bias towards larger pens that are large in either, you know, diameter and grip and barrel, or in terms of like a broader pen tip of more larger millimeter size. I will say none of these pens are what I EDC. So perhaps that'll be in a different video, but hint, a hint to everybody to maybe guess what I EDC is I bought this refill thinking I could put it in my EDC pen. But this is actually just a refill that shares a very, very similar name with the refill I was trying to buy. So, get in the comments if somebody in the comments can tell me either the refill I was trying to buy when I ordered this or the pen that it goes in that I EDC. You know what? You win a prize. 100 points to you. The points are non-redeemable for anything, any sort of prize. There is no prize, so you'll get nothing, but you'll feel smug that you're such a exceptional pen nerd that you were able to deuce the pen I was talking about. Okay. Well, that's it for today, guys. Have a nice one, and I'll see you later.